Right, welcome back. Ip Closure Friday. Whew. That has been a very long and painful old week, gents. How are you holding up?
Well, as my little name thing here says, I'm still living in the basement, so pretty good.
Doesn't sound very good, Dan.
To be fair, like it's been a really really good week. Like really productive, like both physically, like training, like gym wise and all that kind of jazz. But like I feel like in the markets, it's been I've not really been like focused too much on it. So whenever I've logged in, I've just seen only down. So at least things have been consistent. There's no like not been too much of like an emotional roller coaster of up down up down up down. It's just down down down. So yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah, it's been a good week. Also been feeling quite tired, but I think there's been quite a lot happening, which obviously we're going to cover this morning. I know a lot of people are crying. Markets have been pretty much down only, but this is what a bear market looks like, guys. You know, we've spoken about this before. You've got to aggressively take profits. You've got to be ruthless. If you're not ruthless, then you're going to get stuck with the bag and you are going to be crying. So make a note. When it goes up again, make sure you sell at the top. And even if you miss a 20, 30% rise further to that, as long as you don't holding a bag at minus 90%.
Dude, this is exactly what happens when you have 10 weeks of only up. And things get so overextended. They're going to come crashing down, and they're going to come crashing down a little bit further than your little technical analyst lines were saying, because it's just a law, man. Like you can draw like a line here with a line here, and the Fibonacci doing that, and then I think there's something called like a Gann spread, which does that on the chart, and I'm like, what's that, man? What's that? Like it's going down for a little. It's going down for a little Friday vibes, man. It's going down for a little bit longer, but
are you saying technical analysis is horoscopes for men?
Mate, when you like put something on a chart and it goes pow like a fan, like in Thailand with a then you got to start questioning. You got to start questioning what you're doing and giving it like these fancy names and colors. Like, shut up, mate. It goes up then down.
Yeah, it's like I don't know who refers to it like this, but you know, if you kind of look up at the sky and there's like a million clouds and someone says, can you see like a so-and-so, like some kind of object, and you're like, and you squint and you can kind of make it out, and you just like, I can't remember what the phrase is for it, where you just kind of see shit that sometimes isn't there. Like, depending on which way your sentiment lies, you can effectively pick up any kind of market structure, can't you? So if you're like net bearish, you'll be like, oh yeah, that looks definitely bearish. But if you're like all in, you're like, oh yeah, you just convince yourself it's the most bullish market structure of all time, isn't it? So we'll get into
the thing you're talking about is called LSD, mate, on the beach.
Oh yeah, that's the one. So we'll get into some charts and things a little bit later. It all looks pretty like shit, but I think there's always something going on somewhere, so we'll kind of bring those up. But first, I'll just pop my screen up. Dan, do you want to take us through the latest installment of the newsletter? And while I'm doing that, if anyone hasn't subscribed yet, what are you playing at? You've if our kind of subscriber growth was a shit coin, it'd be all the rage. It's just continuing upwards in this upward trajectory. The referrals seem to be kicking in. So if you do want to subscribe, it's free. We're never going to sell you anything. All we want is your little subscription. You'll get newsletter twice a week in your inbox. It takes less than 5 minutes to read. And it's just all this good stuff that we're talking about all the way through the week. So if you don't have time to kind of listen to us ramble and talk like idiots for an hour, then this is probably your best kind of one size fits all. So yeah, what's been going on?
On Tuesday, we had March Madness with these 5 narratives, because March is set to be like an absolute crazy month, both like outside with what the Fed's doing, but then also inside the wonderful world of crypto with all these different narratives. And what we try and do with this kind of like more of a narrative hunting one is give you ideas. We're not shilling anything. We're just giving ideas on what could potentially play out. Now, this newsletter was freaking long, man. Like, it is like a proper Lord of the Rings style book. So if you've got like a nice cup of tea and a packet of hobnobs, you're going to do yourself very well this weekend to just to read into some of these. You know, make some notes on, you know, your watch list, and then just take it from there. But yeah, like we identified. Gorelli ETH was one, which was always okay. Let's just start from the top. Please, if you are reading this, please just keep scrolling down. Don't switch off after the hippies at ETH Denver decided to crash the market with their little sing song, and then you had this pleb here. You know, I don't know what he was doing, like some kind of like world star hip hop moment, like rapping on stage. Like, mate, get out of here. And we say, cryptocurrency mistake. No, you were a mistake, bruv. Right, so we were looking at obviously what the Fed. This is probably like hands down one of the most important things to keep an eye on this month, because you've got CPI numbers coming out. You obviously had the ECB President Lagarde, she's speaking a couple of times. Unemployment rates, FOMC, another ECB press conference. Jesus Christ! Like, if you could go on holiday for a month, like this is probably the best month to do it in.
We're going away next week, aren't we? So, but yeah, it's packed full of stuff. As I say, this one was a little bit longer, but if it's part of your kind of morning routine to just kind of flick through it, you should be completely up to speed by the time you've read it. But there's a lot of stuff about the whole Bitcoin NFTs and Bitcoin DeFi narrative. There's some stuff that's happening on Balance chain or BSC, whatever they want to call it now. Some more LSD stuff like Dan was alluding to.
Oh, are you enjoying this post? Yes, I am.
Yeah, but just go and check it out. It's in the description. It's all for free, as I say. We don't want anything from you, just your little email address in there. But yeah, so what else has been going on? I keep tagging you in a load of shit on Twitter, Dan, but the huge amounts of Bitcoin that have been moved following I think it's like the Bitcoin addresses that were tagged from the whole Silk Road stuff. So I've got a couple of pieces up on here. So the PEC Shield alert popped up and it said 49,000 Bitcoin, so roughly around $1 billion from wallets related to US government law enforcement seizures have been transferred to Coinbase, around 9.8k Bitcoin worth 217 million, and 30k Bitcoin from the Silk Road. So are they going to they surely can't just offload, particularly on Coinbase. Surely there's like they've lined up some OTC dealer and they're going to use like the most obvious custody, which would be Coinbase. What do you think?
Well, it's well. Firstly, like I'm just a normal guy, so you know, sending a bajillion dollars worth of Bitcoin from my MetaMask to Coinbase absolutely blows my mind. I couldn't imagine storing that amount of money in my Google Chrome. That's ridiculous. As for what the US government's going to do, I don't know, man. Like, it seems like Coinbase is getting more and more in bed with the government. So I don't know if there's something like behind the scenes that's going to be going on there. And like they do like a little sneaky backdoor kind of exit, or maybe this is going to go pay for like build on base, so they actually get people building on base.
Maybe that's a move. Jerry, have you got any opinions on what
I think the most logical explanation is custody. But why wait this long? Because they've had possession of these Bitcoins for a long time. So is it custody? Logically, you'd think it was. Is it an OTC deal? It could be, but wouldn't they be obligated to announce that they would be selling this Bitcoin in light of the fact that it is government property? Or does the government buy and sell stuff without notifying anybody? I don't know what the policy is in the States. So I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. I think that's the most obvious use of custody in the US, though, going through Coinbase. I know they've got a really good, solid kind of non-custodial infrastructure there that a lot of people use. But yeah, it seems like a lot of the Silk Road Bitcoin that got seized, like it's quite an astounding number. But I don't know. They're not going to, well, I'd like to say they're not going to use Coinbase to just market sell. That'd seem a bit fucking stupid if you ask me. But it's, particularly with this and like the Mt. Gox unlocks that are potentially happening, it just seems like, it's not the greatest time to be in the market. I mean, Glassnode were reporting the same thing. 40k Bitcoin from wallets associated with US government from the law enforcement seizure on the move. Approximately, the majority appear to be internal transfers so far. However, 9,861 Bitcoin seized from the Silk Road hacker have been sent to our Coinbase cluster. So, yeah, I think they're probably just moving it for custody's sake. But, like, why now? Is the question that I can't really get to the bottom of.
So my question would be, like, what would happen if they were moving it across a bridge and that bridge got exploited and then all this like Bitcoin just accidentally disappeared? Because we see so many bridge exploits. Like, what if somebody obviously like law enforcement's are all clean, but what if somebody was a bit dirty and a bridge hack accidentally happened and this 9,861 Bitcoin just like went poof?
What if they re-hacked it, like what's been happening recently? Like,
if there was ever a time to rehack, that would be the time.
Or what if they're just gonna put it in Coinbase Earn and add some yield on it?
Wow, imagine Gary Gensler, he'll lose his mind. It'll be amazing.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, moving on. So this was quite interesting. So DB, which is the best and fastest news source in my opinion on Twitter. So commenting on the FTX balance sheets after everything's kind of came out in the wash. So $1.6 billion worth of Bitcoin owed to customer, and they could only actually find $1 million worth. So like obviously huge kind of discrepancy there. So this is the kind of breakdown of what the liquidators have found so far across. So if I bring up the kind of spreadsheet and talk you through, if you're listening on Spotify or whatever, kind of talk you through it. So they have the assets in the left, and then customer payables, which is what they were supposed to have kind of held for customers to be able to be paid out. And then on the right, next to that, they've got located assets. So Bitcoin customer payables was supposed to be one, and this is in millions, so 1.591 Bitcoin in customer payables. So that's how much they should have had on record, and they've got like $1 million worth. So it's like a 1600x discrepancy there. So where the hell is that? Similar sort of thing for Ethereum. There should have been $922 million worth, and they've got like $9 million located. And the same thing happens to all kind of liquid assets. So Solana, there should have been $118 million worth of customer payables, and they've located $2 million worth. So anything that was worth anything or anything that was liquid, the amount they should have had on their balance is completely unlocatable, and that's left a deficit of 9.466 billion. But then you've got category B, which is quite funny, where they've got FTT. So they should have had 441 million of customers' assets, and they've located 130 million. Now this is the best bit. So they should have had $96 million worth of MOPS tokens, but they've actually located $1.004 billion worth of MOPS assets, which doesn't make any sense. So anything that was actually worth anything, they can't locate. Anything that's completely illiquid or potentially locked, they've got a surplus of, which is why it's skewed the balance sheet so badly. So they've actually got a surplus of these category B assets like FTT, MOPS, Serum, Feeder, and Media, and all this other shit. And it brings like the collective deficit to 8.693 billion. So they're still in the hole for an extremely large amount. So it doesn't look great for people waiting on creditors to figure this all out. All the while they're getting paid like $2,000 an hour or whatever it is. So it's just a complete shit show from start to finish. And
I've said goodbye. I've said goodbye to my FTX wallet. I have absolutely zero expectation of ever seeing it again. So, and anybody else who thinks they're going to get something out, I think barking up the wrong tree.
It's mental. Alameda have got like a worse shitcoin bag than I have.
Exactly. I mean, the fact that they have $1 billion in MAPS as opposed to the whatever 96 million that's supposed to be on record just proves that they were the video game developers and they made the rules at every turn in their own video game. I mean, they were printing their own thing when they wanted to, how they wanted to. And the fact that they still didn't make money just shows how useless they were in the process. You know, it's like, it's unbelievable. Imagine being the house, being the cards, being the table, and the dealer all rolled into one and still losing money. You've got to be a special kind of stupid to do that.
Or just completely off your nut all the time. Just like, but yeah, this Ignis posted this as well through the week. So remember our old friends from 3AC and the exchange that they were raising for. So there's been a little bit more come to light on that. So just a bit of a quick recap. We got sent the 3AC pitch deck that they were raising for their exchange at the time was called GTX. Obviously, they've changed the name now to like OPNX or OpenX. And Ignis has pulled up this great thread. So it's the landing page looks like dog shit, and then the kind of tagline on the hero page is, "Do you have money stuck on a crypto platform? Immediately unlock the value of your claim by trading into crypto or using collateral on OPNX." So they're literally going to let people claim a trade against the claims on their exchange, and people will try this because people are going to try and revenge trade their way back. The problem is if you end up getting fucked and liquidated, they're going to be in a position where they will hold the claims for those said assets. But given what we've just seen, there doesn't seem to be much on the claims anyway, so I don't necessarily know if this has legs or whatever. But that's only on the FTX side. They've got Genesis, Celsius, BlockFi, Voyager, Holden Note, a couple of shit things as well. So it's like, Lord, give me the confidence and of these guys to kind of come back so quickly and try and pull this off. But yeah, I don't know. Any thoughts on that?
I hope it fails miserably. I hope they really don't succeed. And I think it'll be the best thing for the space that they don't succeed. And I don't mean that from a malicious, like, harboring resentment to these guys. It's just, we can't allow for this kind of thing to happen. I think it'll be really bad for the space, and it will really just continue to reflect really poorly on us as community members. I think it's just the worst thing that can happen. The fact that these guys, I mean, they raised $25 million. It's like, I don't know, it just really doesn't feel right.
I wonder who...
Is that even enough to get like an exchange up and running anyway? Because that seems like peanuts when you compare it to something like Binance or, you know, one of like the smaller exchanges.
Yeah,
I suppose but what this is saying, it's like in a collaborative partnership with this CoinFlex team, and if they've already kind of got the infrastructure there, it's just slapping a different kind of UI UX on top of it, isn't it? It's like same pig, different lipstick, I suppose. So I don't think it's just another way for them to kind of stay liquid for over the course of the time. They're going to be waiting a very, very long time for the FTX claims. Like, look at like what's happening with Mt. Gox. That's only just coming to the market now. But I don't know. But like what leads us into this next bit is quite interesting actually, because if you remember the famous tweet of, yes, we did buy all the Stargate tokens from Sam Trabucco back in the day. They crafted a bot that effectively went into a bidding war with absolutely everyone on the auction of the Stargate tokens when they were getting released. And what that did was it allowed you to buy at a specific price. I think there was like it was a very, very large amount that it cost them to buy. And effectively Alameda had programmed this bot and beat everyone else, and they'd effectively bought all the tokens in the first kind of 2 blocks. So what's looming over the Stargate project and community, and I suppose Layer Zero as a kind of second order effect, is that once those tokens vest, which shouldn't be too far off, they're in the hands of like this wallet that seems to be just like causing absolute chaos on chain. You've seen there's still kind of funds getting transferred all over the place. And because it is such a large amount, they don't want to give up the tokens to be able to get sold into their liquidity, because Stargate own a large portion of their own liquidity. So it's like effectively just draining USDC or ETH from their liquidity pool. And also, if they were to do this after the fact, and the wallet that's holding the Stargate has a large amount of kind of governance sway and governance voting rights, then obviously it might not get pushed through. So what they're proposing is to airdrop a new STG token to all holders. And it's passed with like 90%. There was 2% abstain, 7% said no. I'd like to hear why people had said no, but it's just a bit of a funny one. I think they're doing the kind of right thing, because you never know what these kind of fuckers are up to, and Stargate's been performing exceptionally well. So like it shouldn't be the fault of their own that like these kind of bad actors have got such a large portion of the supply that they did through kind of this sniping bot effectively. So I don't know what you think of that.
Yeah, they did land up using that sniping bot on that public sale, and they pretty much bought everything, didn't they? Didn't they buy like 90% of the supply, like within 10 seconds?
They hold like 10% of the supply in that wallet. And there's another one I've got here. They've got like just under 69, ironically, just under 69,000 Stargate tokens. Some were bought, some were received in November, and then the most recent purchase was February 15th. So one Alameda Research wallet does have a small portion. It's only like 50 grand, but it's still got something. So maybe like the 2% that said no was that wallet. I don't know. But I think this is a good move by Stargate. Like whether it's a publicity stunt, whether it's like something more, I think it's really, really good.
I don't think it's a publicity stunt. I think they do see the danger of what it is that Alameda kind of harbors. We've seen, like Grant said, there's been a lot of shenanigans on that Alameda account over the last couple of weeks, and I think Stargate is fearful that these guys will go and just do a massive dump, and they just want to take the power out of their hands. I think that's what this is. It seems like that's what it is, and that's why they had such a huge vote in favor.
I just checked one of the, because obviously you can see who's voted no. So I just scroll to the bottom of the governance proposal, and there was quite a large no here, 166k v Stargate. So yeah, it was just checking that to see if they've obviously still got theirs, but
day in, day out. Your next career move could be the one you never imagined. Web3 nomads. Everywhere jobs for anywhere people.
Don't know. Anyway, I'll leave that proposal in the description if anyone's listening and anyone wants to check it out. But it's caused a bit of an issue for some projects like Euler, who they've got some Stargate deposited into a contract, and if it was locked in this contract over the period where the snapshot would be taken, then like in their borrowing pool, it's going to effectively not be liable to the new issuance of the token. So they've just voted 100% yes on kind of withdrawing the tokens, holding them bare while this whole snapshot and deposit happens. So yeah, it's just they're just causing havoc even when they're not here, aren't they? So I think this all happens on the 15th of March as well. So
I have a question around the tokens that Stargate bought from FTX. Remember, there was that deal that they did, but that would have been a separate deal, obviously, because I remember that Stargate identified a whole number of tokens when the whole FTX thing was unraveling, and they said, we'll take them off your hands, and they bought the whole lot. I think that was like a really good move by Brian Pellegrino. But obviously, was that layer zero? Okay.
That's layer zero, yeah.
Okay. Apologies. Okay. So they managed to secure their position. Now Stargate are basically with the same problem, and they're now trying to solve it in hindsight. That's basically what this is.
It's basically what happened with layer zero. Alameda it's about it's basically about $150 million worth of tokens. Brian Pellegrino, like the CEO of Layer Zero, saw obviously something was not right, everything was going down. He's like, you know what, boys, let me get the old wallet out, beep it on the card, and he literally just bought like all of those tokens straight back. No questions, no nothing. He was like, right, I want my tokens. You ain't messing up my project because this is my baby. It's going to be the best thing that happens this year. And like, I want control. So that move from Brian for Layer Zero was like probably one of the most Chad moves this year.
Yeah, agreed. Now Stargate are having to go and make things right. It just shows you, I think, like, there's the one player and then there's the other player. So, but maybe Stargate couldn't have done anything anyways, but they're now forced to do something. And I think it's the right thing to do. We need to take, like I said, we need to take the power out of bad actors' hands. That's why we can't be having these other two coming along with what it is that they're planning. How could you possibly trust those guys? Anything that they say or do, unless it's in the contract on the blockchain, you don't want to have anything to do with those guys. That's my take on it.
Right. This is a funny one. So from Vitalik started selling his shit coins that people sent to his address this week.
Imagine sending Vitalik a whole lot of your shitcoin tokens and expecting him to not sell them. Like, really, guys? Really?
I think it's brilliant, because what he's basically done is like, look, boys, I'm going on holiday in a couple of weeks. I need some spending money for me and my missus. Like, I'm buying like a really nice hotel. What shit coins have I got, and dump it. But
oh, dude, it's hysterical.
What's super funny? I was reading some of the comments, and apparently he's kept a moon bag of cult as well, which is hilarious. Absolutely hilarious.
Let's have a look.
I'll tank it and then I'll keep a moon bag.
It's funny, like all of the guys that so basically he dumped a massive bag of SHIK. I don't know what SHIK is. I've not looked into it, but on the wallets that I track, all of a sudden I got loads of notifications like SHIK. Like a load of people like just flipped it. Yeah, there you go.
That's just the like Vitalik candle.
Yeah, man.
How much did he make? How much did he make from that?
700 grand.
Yeah.
Whew.
Yeah, that's a few cocktails by the beach in a slightly nicer apartment.
Yeah, but the thing is, the bit of history on it is he notoriously did this with SHIB like 2 years ago, or something, nearly 2 years ago, whatever it was. And obviously these shitcoin projects send like half the supply to Vitalik, and then they just say like, "Oh, Vitalik's all," and then it becomes a bit of a kind of meta game in and of itself. But he usually kind of donates the proceeds upwards and gives it to a kind of good cause. So, but yeah, it's like there's been a few people that bought like the bottom and have turned like a decent profit. I think I've got a where is it at? Oh, I can't find it. Oh well, yeah, someone bought the bottom and oh, here it is. So due to Vitalik selling his SHIK yesterday, Smart Money made 96 ETH, 150k with 14 ETH on SHIK, and an arbitrager made 86.9 ETH, 140k with 6 ETH. How did they do it? I can imagine this just set off some bots that were tracking this, or I can't imagine this was all done manually.
Definitely bots.
It's got to have been.
Mm.
I mean, unless they were just constantly monitoring.
I mean, is it? I mean, I've got a question for you guys. Is it a good strategy to launch a shitcoin and then send half the supply to Vitalik, in light of the fact that he's going to do what he's going to do, and then you hope there's a bit of a meta game that happens post that?
Depends. Like, was this person who just made like 150K, was it one of the devs? Because it was one of the devs, he probably had it programmed to Vitalik's wallet. As soon as it dumped, it probably would have caught that and then bought the bottom. So maybe it's dev hoping Vitalik does dump to make a quick flip. That's one way of looking at it. But no, I would never send coins to like Vitalik's wallet. Truth be told, like if you're gonna play that dirty game, and I think it's a really fucking dirty game, there are better wallets out there to do it to, and there's probably like slightly more. I don't want to say more influential people than Vitalik because he's obviously like the king of aubergines, but there are, you know, slightly more influential people within the realms of microcap shit coins and whatever that you could probably like make a like smarter bet on.
Gotcha.
Just trying to see when he's actually sold it.
But TLDR, it's a stupid idea to send shit to Vitalik.
Yeah, I don't know. It was completely backwards to me, but yeah.
You know, the really interesting thing about, you know, doing this wrap up every week is that it never ceases to astound me, just the level of ridiculousness that we are subjected to. Like, you know, normally like people would get subjected to this kind of ridiculousness over, say, a period of a month or even a year in some realities, whereas we get to deal with this stuff on a weekly basis. This guy made $1 billion. This guy moved $500 million around. This, you know, balance sheet is out by $8.5 billion. I mean, like the conversations that we have, I think if we had to take like snippets of these conversations and play them to somebody outside of the context of crypto, they would think that we were living in like, I don't know, an alternate reality of sorts. It's just insane.
They probably think we're like soup pushers, right? With like fountain pens in our top pocket and a nice little handkerchief in the other one, right? Because this is the kind of shit you'd expect to have in like these Wall Street like banking firms or hedge funds where we're talking about billions of dollars going missing. There's theft. There's, you know, dirty laundry going around. Nah, mate, it's just crypto. This is a week on crypto Twitter with Big Hot Mama 69. Mental.
Did you see the DeFillama browser extension? I haven't downloaded it yet, but I thought it was worth talking about.
Yeah, I think it's definitely worth talking about. I mean, we actually chatted about this. Is like, you know, what is DeFillama's playbook? You know, what are they planning to do? Like in the, you know, you kind of wonder what a business's mission, what the mission of a business is. And it's like DeFillama is just pretty much positioning themselves to do everything at this point in time. Like, is there anything these guys can't do? It's really something to watch at the moment.
I think it's just a bunch of good guys building good tech. And just having a lot of fun doing it. Like I can imagine the team behind DeFillama, probably Gigabrain devs, and the way they get to showcase their Gigabrain is by creating actual tech that's useful, and that's what they've done.
Yeah. So the Chrome extension, obviously free, like all the shit they do. So they've tagged a load of wallets. Just looking at them now, frequent Dex trader, rare NFT, enjoy, Ukraine donor, Gitcoin donor, and all this kind of shit. So what you can do, you just go and see, you can use the Chrome extension and then go into Etherscan. It allows you to effectively have a layer on top of Etherscan with a little bit more clarity about what's going on. Also helps kind of the accuracies in account balances and prices of any assets that you've got in wallets on there. And one of the really, really good features, what I really like, is you can whitelist specific wallets because they've got a list. They've got like the Llama list of URLs that people should use if they're ever unsure about what URLs they're using, just in case there's phishing links and things like that. So you can whitelist URLs there. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I haven't tried it out yet. I will get around to it probably at the weekend, but yeah. I just don't. I'd love to know their end game, but I suppose that's them showing their cards. Like I can imagine someone's going to come in and just offer them stupid money for the full thing. But I don't know. They can't live off donations for the rest of their life, I don't think. But I know they've got a big optimism donation. But
It's a shame we don't have stupid money to go and offer them money so we could go and buy that and then just demand that they carry on doing the same thing. Imagine having that kind of money, just like, because they're a net positive to this whole thing. Now, this is the opposite of what I was talking about early on. You know, you've got Tweedledee and Tweedledum coming back from the dead, raising a whole lot of money, and then trying to basically scam people all over again. Whereas here you've got just a bunch of dudes building cool stuff and actually not really asking anything in return, you know, like, and they should be valued at billions of dollars just off the back of that. So all hail the DeFi llamas.
I agree.
Yep. Is there any other points that you want to bring up? Is there anything happening? I know there's the Perpy launch happening next week, 16th, I think it is.
That's been such a cool story. I know that Dan's been following that quite closely. You know, we're gonna write some stuff about them because I just love this, like this approach of like, let's come up with an idea and then present it to the community and then actually listen to the community. You know, and the community said, guys, we've seen way too much messiness around, you know, these public sales. And, you know, obviously the uncapped sales have been an absolute train smash, in my opinion. You know, I think, you know, with Trove and with Factor, sure, the guys raise some money and they get to now build their projects, which is amazing. But from the investor's perspective, I don't think either of those charts are trading above public sale price, which is, I think, is sad. And I think that, listen, I don't have a problem with markets doing what markets do and charts going up and down. But when your entry when your entry's way above on the chart and the chart's way down here, it's not a good thing. So what these guys did is that they came up with a strategy to maybe cap, and the community said, no, maybe the cap is too high, and they've now dropped the cap. They've relooked. They're launching on the 16th. I suspect that maybe the 5 million might be a little bit high, you know, on the cap. I would have preferred to have seen like a 3 to 3.5. But let's see. I mean, the fact that these guys are only taking 10% from the team from a tokenomics perspective speaks volumes. You know, for me, that's like the big indicator. How much is the team taking? These guys are only taking 10%. It's one of the lowest I've ever seen.
Yeah, the public, because I think it was a downstream effect of the fact that the initial public sale was going to be like 50%. And
Correct.
like that's kind of that's like an unheard of distribution now. You're probably looking at 5 to, if you're lucky, 15% public. You just don't see it anymore. Like you used to see it in the like 2, 3, 4 years ago and things like that. And like the distribution looked more like what they were trying to do back in the olden times. But
correct.
But what that inadvertently did was, because they were going to open that up fully to the public to buy, that meant that the raise was going to be like the cap was going to be like 12 million or something like that.
Yes.
And obviously that, and kind of a couple of ways to look at it. If Trove didn't go the way it did with like the uncapped launch, particularly through Camelot, then maybe, you know, people would have been a bit more warm to the idea. But I think they've kind of, a few people have been scalded on that, so kind of try to throw the baby out with the bathwater, as it were. But yeah, so they've kind of listened. They've listened to what people's feedback is. They haven't just said, fuck it, we're just going to try and raise the 12 million. And then they've reconfigured it. Public sales at 25%. Try to raise 5 million. I think 5 is pretty fair, to be honest. I'd have went for 5.
I think so too. I mean, realistically, but I would much rather have taken a little bit more of a conservative approach and maybe looked at, say, 3.5, 4. But you know what's kind of like, I don't think that 1 million or 1.5 million is going to really make that much of a difference. So I mean, at the moment they're hard capping it at 5. Prices at $0.02 dollars. 250 million PRI to be released, which is 25% of the total supply. March 16th is when they will be doing the public sale till March the 19th. So they're doing 3 days. It'll be interesting to see. Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose what isn't shown on here as well is because they are doing 100% public sale. There's no kind of prior private round investment as well. So there's no overhang. There's no big or large overhang. So
you know who else is going to be doing something quite similar to this, and I think they're going to take it possibly a step further, are the Unstoppable guys. So their whole kind of like their sales pitch effectively is a community DEX, as opposed to a community DEX that aims to replace central exchanges. I think it's a really bold statement to make, kind of like saying, well, we're going to give it to the community straight off the bat. I mean, that's almost like saying, okay, well, we're going to create a DEX and give it to the community on day one. That's their plan. Let's see how they go about doing it. We've been kind of looking into it and going to put something out there quite soon in terms of like just breaking it down and trying to make sense of like, okay, so how do we take, the normal kind of like we'll own it and then we'll give it to the community afterwards, because that's the playbook, right? We'll set it up, we'll do everything the way we think it should be done, and then we'll hand it over to the community. And these guys are saying, no, we're going to give it to the community straight off the bat. Let's see how it plays out. Should be interesting.
Yep. Anything else from you, Dot?
I think just kind of finishing it off with some charts. I know that you said that there were, there's always activity out there. There's always something happening, irrespective of how messy things are, because things are messy at the moment. If we look at the Bitcoin chart over the last week, we've been trading in a range of like, I think $10. I mean, yes, I am exaggerating, but it's not far off. It's kind of like, it's insane, really. And it's only really started moving in the last 2 days. If you just go, if you go to the daily, I think the last 2 days it started to move, and then for a week it was sideways only. We had that liquidation event where Binance decided to essentially liquidate all the Australians, like no warning, nothing. They just like, no, the Australian government said that you guys aren't allowed to be trading on leverage. We'll close your positions, just like that. And then we had that liquidation candle.
I'd rather everything just nuke than have the couple of days around this period where it was just like no man's land for such a long period of time. I don't know. I don't even know what Ethereum's doing. I haven't checked it in such a long time, but
Ethereum's actually surprisingly held out quite well, to be honest. And in light of all the FUD that quite a few of the big accounts have been like putting out there on crypto Twitter, it's Shanghai unlock, it's like really bad, like things are going to go to Hades, etc., etc. It's actually doing quite well at the moment, from my understanding of it.
Yeah, I think a lot of what's going to be happening like this month with all the unlocks, next one with the unlocks, I think it's going to be a bit of a nothing burger in the grand scheme of things, because now people have access to the Ethereum, but it doesn't mean they're just going to like dump it like straight away. Like if you've had a dead and underwater bag for like the last 2.5, 3 years, you're probably not in too much of a hurry to sell it, because you've spent the last 2.5 years grafting in the real world, making like some real money, that you've probably started to invest in other things. It also opens up potentially like the gateway to a TradFi, because now you can actually utilize and use that Ethereum. Like you can transact, you can like pull it in, pull it out, pull it in, pull it out. So I think subtly, like Shanghai, it'll be a bit of a, oh my god, like Darth Maul wick, but I think long term, I think it'll be good.
And it's on a queued basis as well. Like it's not all just going to unlock and everyone's going to be immediately sell it. I think that's completely backwards to kind of suggest that. There will be a queued basis for allowing people in and people out. So, and
how many
like
people,
my opinion on it's that because people will know it's redeemable, you can have effectively the one-to-one backing of staked ETH and ETH. staking participation is going to increase anyway. So I think it's a bit.
How many people are in profit that have been locked? Is it only like 20% or less?
It's gone up as like the price of Ethereum went up. There's 20% when the price was around the 1200 mark. Hill Bobby or Hill Daddy, I did a really good Dune dashboard. We've linked in a couple of newsletters before. It's really cool. The date you want to be looking at right now is going to be March the 14th, which is the final part of their like dress rehearsal to make sure it's all gone okay, which is on the Gorelli testnet. Now, the reason why I think Gorelli, you can now look at, if you really want to go degen, you can now look at like the Gorelli ETH actual token and coin, which pumped 80% yesterday. But in theory, like if devs do need the Gorelli, testnet token for it on the 14th, there might be some movement there. I don't have a bag. It's just something to keep an eye on. Once Gorelli gets like the Gorelli testnet has been tested and it's all good to go, then we're looking at probably like the first or second week of April for Shanghai to actually go live now, because they had a few minor little bugs in the previous one, which I always struggle to say the name of, so I won't and embarrass myself. But I think it's good that they have delayed it by like a week or two. But Gorelli will be the big one, March 14th.
Just another thing that's been very much on my radar. I mean, I don't have any exposure to it at all, unfortunately, is obviously Bearer Chain. We've spoken about it, with a lot of humor, and like the chain that doesn't exist. I mean, obviously it does exist. There's a lot of evidence to suggest that it does. I think that's going to be like something that's really significant. I know that, Dan, you covered quite a lot of the Shibarium stuff as well. This is stuff that's happening at the moment that's actually making people like a serious amount of money. I don't know if it's really, I think you really got to know what you're doing to get the benefit of it. I'm staying away just because I don't have the time. But I think if I did, I would, from my perspective, not financial advice, but I would definitely spend some time looking at, where are the opportunities lying, particularly with Shibarium and with Bearer Chain. That's just what my instincts tell me. It's like, if I see something and it looks good and there's a lot of attention, generally there's something there. I know that, the NFTs are a big part of what Bearer Chain is about. I know that there's a couple of projects that are launching them at the moment. It's very hard to be specific. I know I'm being very vague about it. It's hard to be specific about it because it really is a great example of like these subcultures and even cult-like followings that crypto does create. And I think Bearer Chain is definitely one of those things, and you can't be fading those cult-like things. It's like, it's strong, and it's like there's momentum, and there's a lot of money that's going into this at the moment. And I think that if you play your cards right, you can really make bank. And I think Shibarium is the same thing. There's some really good accounts on Twitter at the moment that are speaking, the full picture of what's happening with Shibarium. I think Fitzy was one of them that I actually saw that he was like really banging on what was happening with Shib, so maybe worth checking him out. I just don't have the time, so kind of like FOMOing a bit, but I'm not going to get trapped.
Do you want to know where the next cult's going to be? I let you into a little secret. Come a little bit closer. I let you into a secret.
Tell me.
It is in the Blockmates Discord. It's in the Blockmates Discord. They're creating the next biggest cult in crypto.
Do you want to have a few spins on iconic markets, and we'll give the whatever we. Well, there'll probably be nothing left after we've had 3 rounds of it, but we'll give anyone who's a newsletter subscriber. We'll pick one newsletter subscriber who gets the proceeds. So we've got a $20 spin each. So it's over a 1 minute time horizon. Is it going to increase or is it going to decrease? So
definitely going to decrease.
All right, lock it in.
I'm a moon boy, so I'm going to say only up.
Well, you might want to see how this one plays out first.
Now, the thing I've learned is counter trade Jedi, and you'll be fine.
It's so true. It's like so true.
All right. So while that one's counting down, so that's at 21,644. Jerry said it'd be lower than that. We're currently in the green. Oh no, we're currently in the red.
30 seconds. Come on, you bears. Come on.
Come on, dump it so I can pump it. Come on.
Oh no, we're winning.
No, it's gonna check. It's going $5. Come on, stay down. 20 seconds. Stay down, man.
My heart is pounding.
This thing is so.
Oh, it's gonna fuck you at the last minute.
And of course it will.
Nice.
It's built to do that. It's like open trade underwater immediately. That's how it works. I might actually win it.
You've got it.
I've got it, dude.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay, let's see how Dan does.
Right. So Dan, it'll lock the time in after this. But what do you want to go? High or low?
I'm going up, Moon Boy.
Moon Boy.
Come on, baby. Get me out of the basement for the weekend. Come on.
So whatever we've won or whatever the kitty is at the end, we'll if you're a newsletter subscriber, we'll pick one randomly. You can use those roulette things for our email list, can't you? And we'll pick one out. So
see, it's still down. Still down. Come on, dude. Flip it to a green.
Bounce.
No, it's up. We're on the next. We're on the next one.
So what have you got for the next one? What did you vote?
Dan voted up. I'm going to vote up as well on the one after that. All right. So Dan's is live now. The locked-in price.
That's green, huh?
It's 39. Come on. Pamp it, boys. Pamp it. Come on. That's it. Let's have a look at the chart. Come on. Oh, look at that. Look, yeah, we go. Look. We're going to reclaim the area above.
The 1 minute chart. You guys have lost your mind. Seriously. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what DJing looks like. This is what DJing looks like right here.
So your locked in price was 20,637.
20 seconds. Stay green.
637. You want to be able to see 641 now.
Come on, boys.
Come on. Shouldn't have showed Dan this on it.
Come on, big point bears. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Pump it.
10 seconds. Yeah, I think it's all right.
Green, but it's about $3. Come on.
Mate, that'll buy me a nice steak bake down Greg's today as well. Love it.
You got it. Well done, dude.
2 out of 3. Mine's up now.
Boys. Come on, boys.
So we started with 70. Why do we only have 45?
Because we've got 20 in here.
Oh, we still have 20. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
We've been meaning to do this for ages, haven't we?
Yeah.
It's quite cool to actually do it now.
Whoa, look at that. It's going to reclaim it. Look at that. Pamp it, boys. Come on.
Oh, we're going to be loaded. Maybe
epic.
Should start doing some big boy spins on it. Actually,
it's quite a cool. I really love this moon wreck thing, dude. I think it's really well done. Just taking DJ into a whole new level.
Come on. Look at that. Come on, keep it going.
Big payday. So it could be like $100 getting distributed out to newsletters.
Wow, look at that.
Oh!
Yes.
Did we win?
We won it.
Fucking nailed it. 3 out of 3.
3 out of 3. Well done.
Trading instruction.
Nice. So we just made $14.95. Bargain. Look at that.
No, there's more.
No, we're not done. It's still calculating the next one. Still, there's another one to come in, isn't there?
Yeah. I think it's about $100. So if you're not that, we'll have a look at it on Monday. So
$120. Check that out. We almost 2x'd.
In 3 minutes.
Oh God.
Oh, that's epic.
If you can't find me, I'll be playing this all day.
Oh no, dude, stay away.
There might not be any money left. Yeah. There might not be any money left to give to the subscribers. But yeah, we'll pick it out. we won't pick up by the weekend because this recording will come out on the Friday. We'll give people a chance over the weekend to subscribe, and then if you're in that list by for next Monday's newsletter, next Tuesday's newsletter, then one winner out of there will have won that. So we should try pull these in every week. I think it'd be fun.
Can come in.
All right. Anything else? Is that it?
No, just like, subscribe, and do the jazz. You know.
Yeah, we're in Dubai next week. So if you guys are in Dubai, come say hi. We'll be the two idiots wandering around aimlessly trying to find the side events that don't seem to be happening. Yeah.
All right. We'll see you next week then, and catch you later.